Is it femicide or a romantic relationship gone wrong? Maybe psychopathic tendencies? That will be a question that we might never get answers to. The person who would have given us answers is no more. This crime is not just a crime that brings forth details on a murder case. It is also a mirror reflecting the pervasive social problems that support the continuation of such horrible deeds. This is our chance to have important conversations about this, questioning stereotypes and social norms that unintentionally create a climate that encourages domestic abuse. Today, we discuss a tragedy that shook the online community. Most of you had come across her social media accounts in one way or another. This is the sad story of the murder of Anastasia Grishman, also known as Anastasia Kamlovskaya. Anastasia was one of the most well-known TikTok stars in Russia, with a following of about 300,000 and more than 1 million views by the time she passed away. In her OnlyFans account, she was equally well known for her provocative content. She was a content creator and media personality. She had a very fancy lifestyle and possessed lavish things such as a sports car and very expensive electronic gadgets, and earned a lot based on the normal standards in Russia. She was the kind of girl you would describe as different. In every crowd, she would stand out being her body was covered in tattoos, and not just the body parts. A person would get tattoos. She had tattoos up to her face. She also dressed very provocatively, thus attracting too much attention. She was kind of a big deal that she was even featured in a talk show in one of Russia's largest TV shows. Growing up, she was interested in drawing and programming. At the age of 15, she got her first tattoo and never stopped. She covered every inch of her body with tattoos except the back, as she could not reach her back. Her hobby was drawing tattoos. Later on, she turned the hobby into a career. She became a tattoo artist. She also designed all the tattoos she did. That was very impressive. She was very talented, thus attracted so many clients. However, if you paid attention to her tattoos, they seemed to have dark meanings. She low-key gave signs of depression based on the tattoos she had drawn on herself. She visited a psychotherapist and talked about it severely on her TikTok account. She also probably had an eating disorder, as she hardly ate to maintain her small-sized body. She launched her training program where she trained tattoo artists. I'd say she was very successful in this niche. She earned more than the usual tattoo artist in her area. As much as she was this successful in her professional life, she was not the luckiest in her personal life and personal relationships. Her friends say that she had the worst choice in those she associated herself with on a romantic level. They said her partners were very much always substance abusers, while Anastasia was not. Anastasia's friends tried to reach her for some time and were not able to. This made them uneasy, so they called the police to check in on her. When the police went to her apartment in St. Petersburg, they were welcomed with a foul smell. The smell was that of a corpse that had been there for a while. Blood was in every room in the house, on the bed, floor, and bathroom. The sofa was also noted to be broken. Her body was inside her bathtub with multiple stab wounds. She had 13 stab wounds upon examination. The body had started decomposing and made it clear that she had been killed a few days before, maybe a week earlier. It was clear the murder had occurred in the bedroom before the body was transferred to the bathroom. The windows were curtained and the pipes plugged. This was to prevent anyone on the outside from smelling the corpse. A half-packed suitcase was found in the apartment with some of her other belongings scattered. It appeared that Anastasia was planning to travel before the tragic incident. The killer did not get rid of the body but rather left it to decompose. The killer also took Anastasia's phone and kept in touch with relatives. He also sold some of her things on her social platforms as well. This made it clear that this was no stranger. This was a person who knew Anastasia well. I mean, it's not every other day you meet a random guy who knows the passcode to your phone and has access to your house and personal belongings. Anastasia, being wealthy, successful, and also doing provocative jobs, had the power to acquire so many enemies. The probability of who could have been behind the murder was vast. Anastasia and Dmitry Chernyshov met in the line of work. He had booked an apartment to get his tattoo done by her. Dmitry was 24 years of age at the time. Immediately, they found out that they had so much in common and decided to be friends. Not long after, they decided to change the relationship from a platonic one to a romantic one. When they met, Dmitry had a girlfriend. He broke up with her to be with Anastasia. I mean, as they say, true love only knocks once, and he thought this was it. Anastasia's friends, however, did not like Dmitry. They say he was unpleasant, being he always spoke ill about his ex. Being they lived in a small town, everyone knew everyone. Anastasia's friends came into contact with the ex, and she told them that Dmitry hit her at times. In Dmitry's defense, he said that the ex attacked him first, and he was only defending himself. Of course, Anastasia ignored the red flag and believed him. Little did she know how this would end. She was so in love with Dmitry that she ended up getting married to him. He became her social media manager and helped her in planning and organizing her work-related props. Dmitry introduced Anastasia to the filming of adult content. Anastasia, being the adventurous girl, agreed with the validation that it was a new experience. This is when she joined the OnlyFans account as a content creator. She earned thousands of dollars from this website. Her family and friends were shocked to learn about her newly found venture. They tried to talk her out of this venture, but she did not cave. She said that she was not doing it for the money, but because she liked it. Either way, she only acted with her husband, so she found it decent. Many people were against her new career, but she did not care. I mean, she was earning so much and was able to afford things like sports cars, her apartment, and help her mother financially, which were not things she was able to do before. There was no way she would have stopped. I mean, she was just a simple poor girl, born in a dormitory, and now she was able to afford her dream life. Growing up poor, she took up any job to make ends meet. She termed this as one of those jobs. She was just trying to afford the life of her dreams. She had a very big apartment in which one of the rooms was a tattoo parlor, and the other one was used for filming the exclusive adult content. Her friends accused Dmitry of pushing Anastasia into such an immoral industry. With fame comes people digging up your past. It was uncovered that Dmitry was convicted twice there before, once for theft and the second time for refusing military service. Anastasia did not care much about these things. She went with him to the TV show to show how much she loved him. She said that she was not embarrassed of her career, and after all, her husband did love her. With all the information Anastasia had on Dmitry, she still never thought he would ever harm her as much as her friends and family tried to warn her. She turned a deaf ear to all the negativity they had towards her husband. Was this really the type of love that makes you blind, or was it ignorance? As most love stories are told, this was not very much different. The honeymoon phase was coming to an end. The loving nature was dwindling. They began quarreling so much that Anastasia told her mother she wanted to leave him and move to South Korea. She had planned to have a tattoo parlor and permanent residence. She said that this was the country for her, as she liked the culture there. Dmitry could, however, not come with her due to his criminal record. She also wanted to leave him, as he stopped working and relied on her as the primary provider in the home. Her friends say that about this time, she had found a new romantic interest in a new man. This was, however, never established to be true or false. When Anastasia's body was found, stabbed in the bathroom, everyone knew the murderer was Dmitry. The police hunted him down and arrested him. He was charged with first-degree murder of Anastasia. He confessed to killing her after they had a heated argument. He later on changed the statement, saying Anastasia had asked him to kill her. He said that they had agreed a while ago that if she ever asked him to kill her, he would. He said that in the past few weeks, Anastasia had lost it and was severely depressed, But she could not kill herself, so she opted for Dmitri to do it, and he did because he loved her. During an investigative experiment, he showed how he did it. He stabbed her several times in her neck while in bed, several times while he was asleep. He then stabbed her in several other parts of the body. He hid the body in the bathroom to buy time until no one found her. He said that he was planning to kill himself as well later on. This is, however, very hard to believe, being that he was selling all her expensive stuff online. It is said that he even had some training lessons at that time. He was interested in keeping the money. That makes me wonder why he'd want to keep the money if he no longer wanted to live. It is said that he had planned an escape but did not have time to carry it out. After killing Anastasia, he told his new girlfriend. She said she did not want to be involved, but her conscience would not allow her. After battling with her thoughts, she picked up the phone, rang the police, and told them exactly what she knew and where they would find Anastasia's body. Thanks to her confession, Anastasia's body was found. When arrested, he was kind of hostile in a way that you would think he was not behind the murder. He was kind of disassociated from himself. He was either on some drug while doing it, or he had some mental disorder. This was not likely to be a targeted killing. Furthermore, it is improbable that he killed her at her request. Anastasia may have been mentally unstable, but there are so many indicators that show she wanted to live. I mean, she had planned to move to another country, flirted with men, and even sold 2 of her cars to be able to facilitate her move. Like you'd never do that if you were suicidal. This also makes it clear that she was determined to get away from this man. In addition to this, there were signs of struggle in her apartment where she was killed. The sofa was broken and clothes and other belongings were scattered. This was not a coincidence. The half-packed suitcase also indicates that she was packing for her move. This shows that this was not a planned murder, it was manslaughter. Dmitri might have killed her in a moment of anger and rage. The perceived motive was that he did not want to accept Anastasia breaking up with him, or rather divorcing him. He is so accustomed to the wealth and lavish lifestyle without having to work for it. He loved having a successful wife, but got offended anytime Anastasia talked about her achievements. Another assumption was that he had found out about Anastasia's new boyfriend and attacked her out of jealousy. Another potential motive was that he wanted the money Anastasia had. I mean, all the money in the household belonged to Anastasia, being she was the only one working. Also, why would he sell the cars and other expensive possessions? In addition to that, being he was the husband and they had no child, he was going to be the legitimate beneficiary of Anastasia's wealth upon her death. After her death, he did not try to hide or get away. He had no plans. With all the uncertainties in this case, one thing was certain. Dmitri will spend so many years in prison, if not forever. Anastasia will forever remain remembered and missed by her friends and family, as they say she was a sweet soul despite being a bit scandalous on the outside. Her fans keep her fan pages running, indicating she made an impact somewhere in the world. Anastasia was buried in her hometown of St. Petersburg in a ceremony attended by her family and close friends. The initial plan was to have a small event, but it ended up being an extravagant one. As they say, that was the send-off she would have wanted. It was so extra that a film crew from a TV channel filmed it. Anastasia's mom did not bar them from doing so, saying that it was giving her a monetary send-off. Her mom even went on TV shows to talk about the life and death of her daughter. After her death, her fame increased as almost all newspapers in her country wrote about her, and several TV shows were dedicated to her. It is so sad that she got her moment of fame after her demise. It is very heartbreaking having to lose a soul over violence inflicted by the person we would expect to protect the most. Losing your life in the hands of your husband is not the most ordinary thing. This is a cry to fight against domestic violence. It starts with small things such as yelling, then progresses to him laying his hand on you, and before we know it, we have lost another soul. The motive was a toxic blend of greed and refusal of a relationship that started with so much love in it. The finding of her corpse in a bathtub, allowed to rot, is a chilling reminder of how deadly domestic abuse can be. After this tragic story of a life cut short by domestic violence is confronted with the harsh reality of a deeply disturbing crime, it serves as a reminder of the importance of shedding light on the dark corners of our society. As we close this chapter, let us not only reflect on the implications of this heartbreaking story, but also commit ourselves to creating awareness and change. If you found this video intriguing, or if it touched a chord, make sure to subscribe, like, and share to help pass the message to others. Your engagement is crucial in spreading awareness about the realities of domestic violence. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below. See you in our next video. Thank you for watching.